The Rule of Jenny Penn is a 2024 psychological horror film directed by James Ashcroft, written by Eli Kent and James Ashcroft, and it's based on the short story The Rule of Jenny Penn by Owen Marshall. The film stars Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow, and it runs for 104 minutes long. The film made its debut at the Fantastic Fest Film Festival September 19th, 2024, and has a release date of March 7th, 2025. This is an interesting, crazy psychological horror thriller. If you've seen the movie Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and Raising Cain, you put those two together in a blender, you get The Rule of Jenny Penn, and it's crazy. I'll get into why, and it's very unsettling at times as well. The film tells the story of Geoffrey Rush's character, Stefan, who is a respected judge in New Zealand, who is sent to a home care facility after he suffers a stroke and half of his body is paralyzed. Now, even though he is paralyzed and in this wheelchair, he's still very observant because, he has that aspect of being that, forwardness of a judge. He has to be stern and everything. But then with this disability, he's like, it kind of takes it away from him. He has lost none of his kind of faculties, his temperament, very still quick-witted and sharp. Geoffrey Rush in the role of Stefan is really, really good. And it's just very different than what you see could happen in a care facility. And it's really interesting because he's very, quick-witted, but he's very angry at the staff that works there, even the fellow residents. But then we're introduced to Dave, played by John Lithgow, who carries an eyeless baby doll where he uses as a puppet. He's named Jenny Penn. John Lithgow hasn't been creepy since Raising Cain. If you've never seen that film, do so, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The role in Raising Cain is on par with this. Maybe Rule of Jenny Penn, where he plays Dave, is even crazier and unsettling. Stefan, the character that Geoffrey Rush plays, kind of spends time complaining about the lack of having a private room, not knowing what's going on and everything. During the day, everything seems quaint, simple, easy, but then when night falls, the real fear and terror begins. I will say the aspect of elderly abuse is prominent in this. There are so many unsettling scenes that you have to look away, but you just can't because it's so what's going on? What's going to happen? And the way John Lithgow carries Jenny Penn and just uses the doll as its way of speaking and entertaining the residents of this care facility. It's a psychological horror film that is so unsettling and unnerving that it will be talked about and will become an instant cult horror classic. Mark my words, it will. Especially with Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow doing a horror film. The reason I was pulled into this was because of those two names. And then you could say this film, like I stated, is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It meets Raising Cain. Geoffrey Rush's character is Joan Crawford. John Lithgow's character is Betty Davis. If you're a fan of both actors, check this movie out because it's a real treat that I didn't expect. Went in knowing nothing at all. Didn't even know it was a short story until after I saw the film, and then I read the short story. Whew. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat. As a big horror fan like myself, you will enjoy it. The Rule of Jenny Penn gets 5 out of 5 film reels. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about this psychological horror film starring Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the story, the pacing? If you haven't seen it, will you be checking it out now that I reviewed it? And do you think it's on par with Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and Raising Cain? Let me know in the comment section about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next review video.